Welcome back, everyone, to Box Podcast. I know we've not been here for the last couple of weeks, and there is reason for that. Number one, I had a spontaneous trip away, and we were going to film an episode. I was in Bangkok for 4 days, which is really random, and but time difference, it was very difficult, and I did not have a lot of time out there. It was a business trip, and then last week, or I guess this week, because now when we're filming it's this week, but it will be Monday for you. Matt was unwell and had no voice, so yeah, that is just that. But it's fine because we've had pre-season testing this week. Well, at least our kind of first Bahrain pre-season testing, and now there is plenty to talk about. Many teams, I think, are concealing their true cars from us, I believe. I think some teams are truly struggling, but we have learned a few very important things, and we are going to dive into all of those right away. So do make sure wherever you're listening to us, you give us a 5-star rating, because that makes a massive difference to us. Do like, subscribe, and comment if you're watching us on YouTube. But obviously, you can also watch us on Spotify now, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, do follow us on social media. Instagram and TikTok is where you'll find us primarily. So just search Box Podcast. We are, of course, Box Podcast, powered by Box Club. So if you do want to get a discount on your Ultra subscription, then check out the link in the description down below. But it is also free to download if you just want to use the free features. It's very good and I highly recommend it. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
All right, guys, welcome along. And yeah, as Luke said, this time last week I had no voice, so as you might be, I'm still struggling a bit with it.
Do you know what? I reckon some people were praying for that. That's why it happened.
I mean, to be fair, after the last clip I posted, I think there's a lot of people that I triggered, and
people hate you. People hate you. We can say it. Let's just say it.
So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and check us out on social media, because I posted a clip, when was it? At the end of Barcelona shakedown, where Lewis Hamilton topped the tables with his time. And I posted a clip saying, Lewis Hamilton is back. He's going to go and win his 9th title. I'm joking. I know he's only got 7 world titles, but we all know he has an 8th. Which was robbed. But anyway, we move on for that. We're over it. Luke and I are over it. We don't talk about it anymore. So I said he's going to win his 9th title this year. And oh my God, like, the reaction was beautiful. There's many people out there who loved what I said, found it very amusing. Some people didn't quite get it was a joke and called me all the names under the sun. Some even wishing that I would, yep. And it was pretty brutal.
I think some people were just wishing that you lost your voice, and wish granted. I mean, I was with you guys. I've been praying for years that Matt would lose his voice, and eventually my wishes came true along with yours. So yeah, very well done on rattling 95% of the F1 community. I find it incredible how people are so rattled by that. Their response is normally that, oh my God, you guys are so rattled by 2021. It's like, actually, are you rattled by us and our opinions on 2021? Because you were the ones that were upset. But anyway, get over it. We are. Testing.
It just made me laugh. It was phenomenal. For me, it was very meant to be light-hearted. I knew people would take it as a joke. But my God, a lot of people didn't take it as a joke. And if you want to go and look at the comments, go and have a look at the comments, because some were pretty brutal towards me. But hey, it's all fine. It's all fine. We're all friends, and we're all here to talk about F1. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
No, we're not. We're not all friends. I hate loads of them, honestly.
Okay.
I do. Like the ones that comment like stupid things. I hate you.
But all the ones who post nice stuff, we love you. So thank you very much.
You see, I don't even mind. I like it. When someone's got an opinion, great. Like, if you disagree with us, when your comments are stupid, that's when I hate you.
There we go. Right.
That's what true friendship is. Honesty. I hate you.
It is. But welcome along, everyone. We are back. And yeah, let's talk all F1, shall we? Because I this week has highlighted there's a lot of F1 drivers who are not happy with this new regulation. Some have said that it's like Formula E on steroids. Some have said it's the worst regulation change in F1 history. Let's delve into it because I have real concerns for the way F1 is going. And I don't know if you've seen, but Max Verstappen came out and he was spoken to about it, and he was basically said that it's just slow. It is like F1 on steroids, Formula E on steroids. It's not enjoyable to drive. You know, he wants to go out and drive fast and be like that. So it is a worrying time, isn't it? Because if you haven't got the F1 drivers on board with it, it's going to be very tricky to get F1 fans also involved with it. For me personally, I actually think it's quite an exciting thing because, I mean, it's mind-blowing how the actual regulation change, and when you're watching, you're like, well, that's it, that's mental. But even Lewis Hamilton has said, you know, look, F1 fans aren't going to understand these regulations.
Yeah, I mean, look, is it, you know, should it worry us that Max Verstappen is complaining? I mean, come on, he was raised by Whinger Spice. He's a moaner. Max Verstappen is a moaner. He will complain about everything and everything.
But we've also had Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso come out this week and say it's very F2. It's very related to F2.
But look, right, they weren't saying. Max came out and threw his toys out the pram. Let's be honest. Max was saying essentially, like, I could just retire. Like, I've won it all. Do you know what I mean? Because Lando even came out and said, well, if Max wants to retire, he can. You can't really complain. Like, we're paid millions of pounds to drive these cars. And, you know, I sit somewhere in between. They do have the right to be like, oh, these are a bit rubbish. But I feel like Max is always on the furthest end of the spectrum of, like, criticism. I mean, look at all of the things he's criticised over the last few years, like, that have actually turned out to be all right. Like, Vegas. We were in that boat. We were criticising it. I think, look, they may not look like the greatest cars to drive at the moment. They look pretty sick, by the way. Can I just say, I think the cars look stunning. And they're noticeably narrower. I know they are factually narrower. But, like, the fact you can see it on track, they look skinnier. They look more like F1 cars to me. But we just don't know. Let's give it a few races until we're going to bear judgment as F1 fans, because we can sit here, prepare ourselves all doom and gloom for the start of the season, but where's the fun in that? Let's look forward to it. So what? Max Verstappen doesn't enjoy driving it. Lewis Hamilton thinks we're going to find it confusing. Fernando Alonso thinks it's like rubbish because they're having to go 50 kilometers an hour slower through corners. That's fine. Let's see how it is when we get a few races in. Are we getting good battles? Are we seeing overtakes? F1 fans, right? I'm talking directly to you. Do you care if the cars are 50 kilometers an hour slower through a corner if you're seeing more overtakes and closer racing? Now, I'm not saying we're going to get that, but would you take that trade-off? Slower cars for better racing? I would. Would you?
Yeah, 100%. No, I'm excited for this year. I know there's been a lot of, criticism this week from the drivers, but I'm excited. We're not dealing with the regulations we've just come out of. We know we've had our opinions on that. For me, this is a fresh, brand new start for F1. Okay, as I agree with you, give it a few races to see what it comes out like. But I'm excited. It's baffling to me. I'm watching some of the highlights and I'm kind of going, whoa, that rear wing, that front wing is incredible. It's a masterclass what they've actually done with it. So I'm excited. I'm intrigued by it to see how it goes. But, Max Verstappen, I'll be honest with you, moaned about this back in 2023. Do you remember that press conference he did? He spoke about it and he said, look, I've seen the data for it. It's going to be slow, and he's spoken about this 3 years ago. So it's nothing new with him moaning about this.
And don't get me wrong, right? I'm not sitting here deluded. Like, there are definitely some concerning things when you look at it, right? The revs dropping, like, as they're bombing it down a straight. So much lift and coast. There's there's also been like Andrea Stella was saying like it's looking like it's very difficult to overtake, and this is all to do with how the battery system works. There are things that we should bear in mind that are looking concerning. So I'm not saying like Max is like stupid for saying this. I'm just saying like, come on, let's also try and look at the good side of this. We're coming into brand new regulations. There's going to be a huge amount of development over, I'd say even over the next week. We'll get onto this, but I imagine some of the cars are going to look very, very different the next time we see them. And I think there is a lot to look forward to. And I've no doubt that the racing is going to improve. I'm not being funny. Let's look back at the ground effect era that we just had. We come into that and 60% of the cars are jumping like kangaroos down the straights. That was tough to watch. I think there are teething issues every time you move into new regulations, right? And it's probably even easier for someone like Max, who's had an unbelievable time in the previous set of regulations with Red Bull, to come out and be like, oh, this is rubbish, like, bring me my good car back. I get it. But I think as fans, we need to look at all the exciting things that might be on the horizon. We might have unbelievable racing. We might have a complete mix-up in how the championship looks in terms of teams. We might see different race winners every week. We just don't know. I would rather look forward to the good things and buy into all this like doom and gloom side of things.
Yeah, 100%. As I said, I'm with you. I'm excited about the new regulations. My only thing is, the only criticism and the only worry I have is, look, as we've said before, F1 is the pinnacle of motorsport. When you think about F1, you think about drivers going as fast as they can, fastest lap in, lap out, and that's what you want to see. I just hope that we're not going away from that, and that's the only concern for me. But as I said, we'll see how it goes at the beginning of the season. I agree with you. I prefer more overtakes, more battles. Give me that any day of the week. But I also want to see them go as fast as possible. Ultimately with this car, and I really, really hope we don't. We've seen it over the last 3 years. As soon as it rains, you can't go out. That's the only thing, because some of these cars, they do look unstable. And I don't know if you saw Colapinto lining up for just completely going off. That is my worry, is actually we're going to go, do you know what? If it's wet, any type of wind or whatever, we can't do that because the cars are unstable. That's what I hope we don't get down to.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Look, I don't want this to be, I say like a game of chess, but it's probably a bad example because it's quite like a natural organic game. Like, I don't want it to be taken too far away from the racing. All the things they've got to think about, like, oh, okay, no, I need to lift and coast around here, and because I need to preserve energy for when I go down here, but then I'm only going to have that for this, and then my revs are going to start. Like, I don't want. Of course, we all want the racing to be as organic as possible, but for a long time, F1, a long time now, F1 has been all about that. It's been all about energy management, and we've seen a lot of Lyco over the last few years as well. So look, do I think it's going to be that different to what we've seen? I don't think it's going to be as drastically different to what we've seen. The turbo hybrid era into the ground effect era, and I know it was still turbo, but you know what I mean. Was it that different? Were we as fans sitting there? It was probably very different for the drivers, right? But were we as fans sitting there like thinking, oh, it's all changed, like it's all so different? No, like we turn up on a Sunday and we watch the race, and to us it still looks pretty similar. And I think we're going to see that here. It's just adapting to new rules. Yeah. That's it. And I think, like I say, judge it after a few races. If after a few races it's dreadful, then we'll sit here and get angry and complain, because we'll have every right to.
Yeah, and I think, at this moment in time, there's a lot of unknown. You've got a lot of teams who are going, oh, well, this team's got this engine type thing. Is that right? Is that fair? There's a lot of speculation about what is, and I think we're going to see some changes.
This is good because I wanted to talk about the mind games that are going on. You see this pre-season testing. a lot of mind games. The problem is you never know when someone's playing mind games or when they're just being genuine. You know, we can look at a number of teams here. Obviously, there's the big Mercedes engine thing where, look, I'm not a technical guy. Matt isn't either. We're not going to sit here and claim to fully understand it. It's something about using heat to allow them to have like 18 cylinders instead of 16. That might be right. Or like a 16-1 ratio. They're under heat. It works out like 18-1. Whatever the fuck that means. Go and read up about it if you care that much. But there are obviously teams complaining that sort of thing is against the regulations or the spirit of the regulations, whatever you want to call it. Red Bull have also like done this, I believe, because wasn't it a Mercedes employee that went to Red Bull that then leaked what was going on? Not cool, by the way. And there are obviously teams that are complaining about this. I know Audi were one of the big teams that were big on the 16-1 ratio. Ferrari have said they're not going to complain about it. You know, they're not going to, but they'll be there. If, you know, if something gets raised, Ferrari will be there. Unless, you know, the reason they're not saying anything is because they've got something that they don't want to be found out about. And if they don't like jump on the bandwagon of going after Mercedes, then maybe the favour will be returned the other way. And this is the thing, so many mind tricks, you know. Aston Martin look like they're really in the pits, right? The absolute pits. Lance Stroll coming out and saying we're 4.5 seconds off the pace, whatever. Okay, it looks like it. It does look like it from testing. We know there's a lot with the Aston Martin project that is going to take time to sort of become cohesive. But is that mind games? You know, Red Bull, I've seen their technical director come out and say that they're the 4th fastest team. But then you've got 90% of the grid saying that the Red Bull powertrain looks like the best one out there. But then you've got everyone online and all of the pundits saying that, well, the Mercedes powertrain looks great. But then I'm going to be honest here. I don't understand anything at the moment because you've got people saying that Ferrari don't look that great, but Lewis Hamilton was the 2nd quickest driver of testing. Apparently the race simulations, the pace looked really good. You've got Mercedes turned up on the last day and looked good, but like everyone's saying they're absolutely clear. But then all the teams are saying that the Red Bull powertrain looks the greatest, but the timings were slow. Someone's going to have to explain this sport to me because I don't understand it anymore.
That's why. Sorry. That's why I think it's still quite exciting because we have no idea. And it's interesting with the Ferrari one, isn't it? One of the things we criticised Ferrari, the stability last year and the pace was off. The thing that Ferrari have been commended for this so far within testing is their reliability. The car looks so much more stable than we've seen for a long time. But again, that's fine, but you need pace with that. So it's going to be really interesting to see.
Can I make a bold statement?
Go for it.
Ferrari are hiding something spectacular up their sleeve.
I'll be honest with you. Coming away from this week, the two main things, I think Mercedes look good. I actually think they'll be okay. But I have a bit of hope for Ferrari. Okay?
Should I? I have logic behind. I'm sure you do as well. But like, do you want to hear the logic behind my thinking here?
Go for it.
This Ferrari car has looked the same since day one. Okay, the same car that we saw in the delivery launch. That's what we've seen. Apparently, Ferrari used the same engine the whole of testing. They have not changed the engine once. And obviously that's great from a reliability perspective, but they clearly were not pushing that car to the limits. Yet they still looked okay. They have routinely spoken about how the car is going to change very quickly. You know, Lewis has already said they've got development in the works. Packages are going to change. We know that they're bringing something, I think, in time for Australia. I think Ferrari are concealing something pretty... You know, the car does not look like... You look at the Aston Martin, right? And you're like, holy shit, that's bold. You look at the Audi, they've done something radically different. You don't look at the Ferrari and think, oh, that's a real standout car. I think it's going to be. I think by the time we, get to Bahrain again, or we, get to the first race, Australia, that Ferrari is going to look radically different, and they have something up their sleeve. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, when you take down the total laps per team, okay, so McLaren and Williams both did 422 laps across this week's testing. Ferrari with 421. You then had Haas with 390, Audi with 354, Red Bull in P6 with 343, and then you got the RBs with 327. But when you're looking down, you got, Mercedes and Aston Martin. 282 for Mercedes, 206 for Aston Martin. Aston Martin, I do not think they're sandbagging. I think they are in trouble. Being 4 seconds off. Adrian Newey has taken a big risk with his design. And who knows, by the time the first race in Australia, that may pay off. But Lance Stroll coming out, going, and even, Fernando Alonso, they're well off. This isn't just a team who are 1-2 seconds off. 4 seconds, and with that amount of running, I mean, that's less than half of what McLaren did this week. Only 206 laps across the whole week.
I would agree with you. I think Aston Martin are the one team not playing mind games. They look like they're in trouble. Obviously, they had some issues with the power unit over the testing period. The car is radically different in design to other cars. It looks unbelievable, by the way. Like, it's got like a Newey stamp on it, hasn't it? But look, they arrived late to Barcelona. They started the 2026 project very late. Were they too reliant on Adrian Newey coming in? Did they hold off everything too long, knowing that he was going to arrive and that things would change? Should they have accepted that maybe 2026 will not be their year, but if they get a really good foundation from the engineers that they could use and had at the time, get that 2026 car foundation, and then Adrian Newey comes in? Or is that just what this year is anyway? Like, yeah, we're starting on the back foot, but this year is still a write-off. We're going to let Adrian Newey build the foundation, and then we're going to continue building from there. I don't know.
But I think Aston Martin have got to stop using this excuse of, this is our year. But this is a big brand, okay? 2023, they had a great start to the year. Fernando Alonso on podiums, all of that stuff. We then thought to ourselves, okay, Aston Martin could be back here. They've had no success since. We've said this about Aston Martin many times. You can't have success with Lance Stroll. Yes, okay, Fernando Alonso, but he's in his 40s, okay? Where are you going? Where's the team going with that? Lawrence Stroll has invested a lot of money, okay? A lot of money in this team, in Adrian Newey, in having the best around. But when you're having the likes of Lance Stroll, when you're having Fernando Alonso, who is in his 40s, who I'm not saying is past it, but he's not going to go and win you championships. I generally do. I don't believe he will do that. This is a team who, driver-wise, haven't got it right. They can't keep using this excuse as, we're building towards 2026 or we're building towards 2027. This is a team where you spend that much money, you need success. Being 4 seconds off, granted, if it's a sandbag, well played. You've completely fooled everyone. I don't believe it is a sandbag. I think actually this is a team who are in disarray.
Yeah, I don't know if disarray is the right word. I don't think I agree with that. I do think it's a team that has undergone like a huge amount of change. They're now, making their own suspension, etc. They've switched engine supplier, which may be looking like a bad idea at the moment. But I'm sure, they're going to be the only Honda powered car, which I'm sure will pay off in the future. But it is they are very much that our next season is our season team at the moment. But look, again, I can't come on here and criticise Aston Martin, because for the best part of 2 years we've praised them for everything they're doing outside of the drivers. And I think Look, I think Fernando Alonso still has that dog in him, personally. I agree with you that I don't think you're going to win anything with Lance Stroll behind the wheel. But yeah, I think they're in real trouble. I think Aston Martin are in real trouble. It's not looking good at all. I'd say them and Cadillac are looking like the two teams that are struggling the most.
No, I agree. Interestingly, and I want to hear your view on this. So Lando Norris backs Russell to win F1 World Championship. And what's your thoughts on that? I mean, as you said earlier, there's a lot of speculation because I want to read out a couple of quotes. So Lando Norris on McLaren's pace. We're certainly not quick enough, so plenty of work for us to look into. Against at least Ferrari, who did a full long run, we're not really close to them. And then you've got George Russell, probably, coming out. Probably the most concerning thing for everyone is looking at Red Bull's performance, especially on the engine side. They look a step ahead of everyone else. It is a minefield, isn't it? But, like, where are we going with it? But
I don't understand it. Or like, someone, please, because there are some of you will be so much brighter than us. Where is this Red Bull data coming from? Okay, the Mercedes stuff I understand. Where is this Red Bull data coming from? Because they did not pump in spectacular times at all. Like, are we just looking at the fact that Max Verstappen had the highest speed across like the whole weekend, week, whatever? Because when has that meant anything? Like, everyone knows F1's about the corners anyway. I mean, I just don't understand where it's coming from. And they're all like pointing fingers at each other like, oh, they look good. No, we look rubbish. Why? Where's the honesty gone? Can't someone just be like, oh, we look pretty good?
Yeah. I'm with you what you said earlier on. For me, after this week's testing, I'm quite positive about Ferrari. I think there's a lot of positive things that have come out. Also, even when you're just looking at the actual race starts, they look much better compared to other teams. So if they can get the pace on that as well, look, it's happening. We're going to have a Ferrari championship this year. It's happening. And the reason why I want to say that, Luke, is look, let me break it down for you. In 2014, okay, the Seahawks, NFL as well. Yeah, you like these things. And this is why Lewis Hamilton is going to win, shall I say 8th or 9th? 8th world title this year. Lewis Hamilton is going to win his 8th world title this year. And I'll tell you for why. Because in 2014, the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. The new F1 regulations, Lewis's second year with a new team, and Lewis Hamilton won the World Championship. Fast forward to this year, lads. The Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. The new F1 regulations. Lewis Hamilton's second season with Ferrari. And guess what? Lewis Hamilton is going to go on and win an 8th, 9th World Championship. It's happening. It is happening. I'm putting it out there. I know I said it a year ago. I know I was massively wrong. But I'm going to put it out there this year. Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari, they're back.
I've said it every year since 2022. So, look, I don't know. I think testing has shown us some things. I don't think it's shown us everyone's true hand. Look, I'm not going to buy into that like crap because certain things have happened before. I think Ferrari are looking decent. I think, look, it's quite clear at the moment that the four teams we expected to look like the best are looking like the best four teams. The Mercedes, the McLaren, the Ferrari, and the Red Bull. Which is fine. I don't think anyone expected much difference. I would like to see some other cars really come into the mix. I don't want to have that disparity that we had last season. But do I think Lewis Hamilton is going to win his 8th World Championship this season with Ferrari? Of course I do.
Yeah, he's on board, lads. He's on board. I think, obviously, the next Bahrain testing is the 18th to the 20th of February. And then, obviously, the first race of the season.
Is this one actually on TV?
Who knows? And that's another thing. What is it? So F1 is meant to be for the fans, new regulations, new excitement, okay? But don't worry, F1 testing, we're only going to show you an hour per day.
Yeah, it's like,
why?
Oh, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there all day. Like all the camera crew is gonna be there. All the production team, they're all there. Presenters, yeah, we got a lot of them. But instead of filming it and just like putting it on TV because we can, there's nothing else on Sky F1. We're just gonna write a few updates online and then we'll show you the last hour. What? Just put it on all day. What are they doing? They're out there anyway. Just put it on.
But this is what I don't understand. Everyone got really excited because you have more extra testing sessions because of the new regulations. But then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, actually, we're not going to show you anything. We'll show you snippets. We want to see it.
Yeah,
we want to see it.
But I don't understand it. I mean, everyone thought they were like trying to conceal something from us, didn't they? They were like, oh, what are they hiding? Like things are going to go wrong. And I just, I don't know. It's weird. But like, they better be showing next week. I want like on all week.
Well, we shall see with that. But I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you something, but I can't remember what I was going to ask you. I've got a little game for you, Luke. I won't do all of them because I know you've got to go off shortly because you're going out. But I'm
going up to Liverpool to watch Liverpool play.
This is
a 5-hour drive.
This is the first time you've ever been to Anfield, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Wow. And you're watching it against the mighty Brighton, so.
Yeah, who I've obviously seen Liverpool play Brighton so many times because I go every year at the Amex.
But you're actually going to be the first time going to Anfield. Fake fan. Anyway, let's move on. So, just a few. I'm going to chuck a few drivers at you, and I want you to tell me their first team and their current team. Okay. So the current team anyway, but I want to hear what your.
I probably do know the current team.
Yeah. So let's start off. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm just going to chuck in probably 10 of them. Okay. So, Carlos Sainz.
Toro Rosso.
Good.
And Williams.
Okay. Lance Stroll.
Racing Point?
No. Williams.
Oh, fuck, yeah. No, sorry, it was Williams.
Ollie Behrman.
Is this a trick question? Is it going to be Ferrari?
You tell me.
Okay, I'll go Ferrari.
Ferrari, well done. Sergio Perez.
Oh my god, that's so long ago. I actually kind of like Force India.
Sauber.
Oh, I actually knew that as well.
Let's go for Charles Leclerc.
Alfa Romeo.
Sauber.
But that was like Alfa Romeo.
No. Okay, Nico Hulkenberg.
I actually just can't remember.
No? Don't want to even just think of a guess?
No. I literally cannot remember.
Williams.
I've got no recollection of him ever being at Williams.
This one I'm not sure you're going to get, but Esteban Ocon.
Esteban Ocon.
You won't get this. I don't even remember this team.
Right. Well, that's reassuring. Firstly, I'm trying to think when he came into the sport. Esteban Ocon's first team was it's just where they haven't been a team for years. Minardi.
No, it was called.
Yeah,
Manor.
I know.
Do you remember the team Manor?
No.
Fuck knows. But Force India was the first one. Have a look. Esteban Ocon's first one.
Esteban Ocon. I'm going online. I can tell you his current team without looking at Wikipedia. Lotus. No, it was Manor.
I don't remember. Have you heard that name before?
Yeah, actually, no, this is so weird. Isn't it funny how things just like completely leave your brain?
Yeah. No, I don't remember that. But anyway, yeah, well done. Well done.
Good quiz.
Well, top of knowledge. Always bringing you Will knowledge here on the Box podcast. Jack Doohan, he's back in the sport. He obviously left Alpine as a reserve driver for Haas. What do you think?
Yeah, great for Haas. Like, why not? That makes sense. Look, Jack Doohan did not. Look, he might not have come into Alpine setting the world alight, but did anyone expect him to? The car was trash last year, right? They swiftly removed him for Colapinto, who, in my opinion, did no better job than Jack Doohan. So I think, well, that's great for Haas. Like, he's a young driver that is hungry. He's clearly good enough for the sport. Look, if Colapinto is good enough, there's Jack Doohan is good enough, because they've been directly compared in the same car. So, yeah, makes complete sense.
Next week on the podcast, well, actually, we'll do it before the Australian Grand Prix and after that testing. We will be discussing, we'll be breaking down who we think will win the World Championship. We're going to break down, Luke, we're going to break down everything. Who will be the first person to retire? Who will be the worst driver of the season? I already know. One thing which I quickly want to touch on, we touched briefly on it earlier with Adrian Newey. Obviously, Adrian Newey, he's built this car. It looks rubbish at the moment. At the moment, I say that. If this season goes that bad and they are that poor, is his legacy tarnished?
Oh, that's like we're reading from the same notes.
Well, I'm copying the thing that you put in our WhatsApp.
Oh, that makes sense. He literally did just copy my homework. I've literally got, could this tarnish his reputation? I don't know. Truthfully, I don't think so. Look, in the same way that Lewis Hamilton's reputation is not tarnished because a few poor seasons, Adrian Newey's legacy will never be tarnished. But we have to give it time, you know. We can't expect him to come in and get all the cogs turning. This is not a single man sport. You know, if this was fucking darts and Adrian Newey had turned up and was all of a sudden pinging like triple ones instead of triple 20s every match, then we'd be like, yeah, this could be a bad idea. But F1 is a team sport. It's a collective. You have to get everyone working as a unit. And that is going to take a little bit of time. Adrian Newey's not just going to come in and have everyone working in the way that he wants them to straight away. It takes time to build culture, change attitudes, find the right people for the right job. And it's going to take a little bit of time for him to put his stamp on this team. But the fact that we seen such a bold design on the car at such an early stage, I think tells us all we need to know. You know, he is going to be giving this Aston Martin team the Adrian Newey identity. And I do believe once all the pieces fall into place, their fortunes will change. Do I see Aston Martin winning a world championship? Not all the while you've got, you know, you don't make the Lance Stroll call. But do I see them becoming a team that can fight with what we consider the big boys? Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I think in time, but it's going to be interesting. This year is going to be interesting. Look, I think we've touched on it earlier. There's a lot of uncertainty, not just even within the teams, but I think the safety of the sport as well. That's all being questioned by McLaren. You know, we know a year ago, Ferrari, Fred Vasseur spoke about the fact that he has concerns about the safety aspect of these cars, and that's still coming up. You saw that in the starts yesterday. So there's still a lot of unknown. There's still a lot of unknown, and I think for fans that's exciting. I think for teams that gives them a lot of headaches. But yeah, for me, we said it's last year. It was good we got that era of car out of the way last year. This is a complete minefield, and I think it would take us quite a while for us as fans to understand the true ins and outs of these new regulations. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited. It's a fresh start. It's new regulations, all these unknowns. But one thing they've shown this week is Ferrari look relatively good. McLaren, are they sandbagging? Who knows? Everyone's actually praising the Red Bull powertrain. So who knows with that? But one thing is for sure, Aston Martin do look utter crap. But anyway, that may change. But I think that is the end of the podcast, unless you've got any other notes on which I haven't stolen from you.
I don't. No, that's pretty much everything I had. I mean, look, still plenty of concealment going on. Over the next week, we're going to get a much more relevant understanding of how these cars for each team are going to look and how they're genuinely going to perform, because they don't want to turn up to Australia not knowing how their true car performs. So we will get a good idea from this next batch of testing, and mark my words, some of these cars are going to look very, very different when we get there.
Can I just say, I just want to talk about one thing, which I've just touched on briefly because I've just seen online. So, as I said, last year, Fred Vasseur called for change to the starting procedure for 2026 because they knew the difficulties there would be, but they were dismissed. So, Ferrari decided to build their engine accordingly, and other manufacturers didn't. Fred Vasseur said the issue of race starts has been discussed before, with a proposal to give drivers more time on the grid to prepare before the lights go out, and discussed an F1 Commission meeting last July. However, the motion did not pass because Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur did not agree to change. So the racers learned that the stance was because Vasseur had called for such change as early as 12 months previously, but was dismissed by rival teams. So Ferrari elected to pursue a power unit design that could cope with shorter race start sequence. Interesting.
That is very interesting. I mean, you got to think of the advantage that can give a team. If every other team is struggling to pull off the line, and if it is truly difficult to overtake, then getting a good start is going to be pivotal.
But the funny thing is now, you've now got McLaren coming out saying safety changes need to be made before the start of the Australian Grand Prix. So, Fred Vasseur highlighted this 12 months prior to that meeting, but now teams are getting on board with it. This could be something that could affect Ferrari if this does get overturned. So it's going to be interesting. I think there's a lot of swings and roundabouts that's going to happen within the next few weeks before the start of the Australian Grand Prix. So who knows? It's a minefield. It is a minefield.
Don't you just love the drama?
Exactly. But anyway, that is the end of the podcast. It is nice to be back. Sorry, as you can probably tell, my voice still isn't where it needs to be, but you can. I'm still talking, so unlucky for Luke. But we'll be back next week for a brand new podcast. Luke, enjoy Liverpool.
Thank you.
We know, I mean, actually the podcast will be out by now, but Brighton have won 4-0. It's an easy win. Happy days.
Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me whatsoever.
But we'll be back next week with a brand new podcast. It is nice to be back. Check us out on all social media, TikTok, Instagram. We post daily. Well, we haven't done for the last couple of weeks because Luke's been slacking because I've had no voice. But take it easy and see you later. Bye-bye.